Welcome to the richest source of everything NBA 2K. My name is Ryan, but a lot more people know me as Shookya. This commentary focuses on my ultimate defense, the defense I use for every situation that I find myself in, as well as the defense I use against all the teams that I get matched up with. The video is laid out like this. In the first couple of minutes I left in my pregame setup screens so you can review my settings and get a little refresher on that last video I made. Then I put some highlights together of some good plays I had throughout the game on the defensive side of the ball to show you guys a couple of examples about what I'm going to be talking about today. And then finally, the last couple of minutes are just the final moments of the match. So to get started, on my last video I got a comment from a dude named Christian Alvaron who asked me to do a video on defending teams like the Spurs and the Thunder. And although this gameplay we have a Laker on Laker matchup, as you may recall from that last video, I said that part 2, this video, was going to be about my defense. So even though I do have some really good games against the Spurs and the Thunder coming up, everything that I talk about in this video about my defense will apply to San Antonio and Oklahoma City anyway. This matchup is against a guy named JKJKing15, who is also a Superstar 5 like myself, and has a record of 40-8, I think, which is okay, but I don't really pay attention too much to that record screen because my record has been stuck for a really long time, and it says my score difference is like -56 or whatever, although my record says it's 10-3, so maybe I got blown out by 400 points or something. Before we jump into the main discussion of today's video, I'm just going to give you a heads up on what we're going to be working on next week. I'm kind of torn between three things. A My Player video with some tips about perfect releases, a quick match team up game, or a tutorial on post moves, specifically the post fake step through. The pump fake step through, I mean. If we end up doing the post up walkthrough, I'll make sure I'll talk about that video over a San Antonio or Oklahoma City game so you can see this defense in some more action. And like I said, I'm undecided about which one I feel like making after this video, so post something in the comments and I'll make a decision about it as soon as possible. Okay, so now on to the super defense that is the Los Angeles Lakers 1-3-1 zone. Now if you don't know how to activate any zone defenses, presses, or traps, it's the right directional on the D-pad. It will bring up the option menu in the lower left side of your screen. It has 2 pages which you can cycle through using the right trigger. The defense I want you guys to get familiar with is selected on the first page with the Y button. With the 1-3-1, there isn't a lot to remember. The main thing you want to do is play as the 4, the power forward, and always remain on the opposite side of the ball. You don't want to play in the area that the computer has selected for you because it always leaves one player open. In this case, take Pau Gasol and run him around on the weak side of your defense. You can bring him over to help, but the switching and double teaming of the 1-3-1 will take care of everything on the ball side of this defense. When we get into teams like the Spurs and the Thunder, you're going to want to play as Andrew Bynum and play under the basket instead of using Pau. And that way you'll probably have to give up a 15-footer to Kendrick Perkins or Serge Ibaka. But you're going to have to be okay with that because if they drop 40 on you, it's a lot better than having them abuse Westbrook or Durant. You just want to get your opponent out of his rhythm and get him playing out of his comfort zone. You want to be the one controlling the flow of the game on both ends of the court. But anyway, so yeah, the main thing you want to do is play as Pau Gasol or whatever power forward is on your team and play on the opposite side of the court from the ball. If he calls plays or spreads the court, or even decides to run the offense from the top of the key, it's not as easy. You're always going to want to position Pau where the most amount of players are, or where there are players are that aren't defended. When playing in the 1-3-1, you really have to have confidence in your defenders, otherwise you're going to panic. And if you're playing someone good, you will end up giving them an open 3. And that's definitely not something you want to give up. Just make sure you have your sliders right and your best defenders in the game. And you will always be able to hold your opponent under 55 points or so. It's pretty much impossible to score more than 60 points on this defense, using the Lakers and their high individual defensive ratings anyway, even if you're really good. Just because of how efficient they switch, help, and double dribble drive penetrations. This guy only scored like 36 points in 3 quarters before he finally quit. But anyway, playing like this on the other end of the court puts all the pressure on you to convert on the offensive end, which is one less thing to worry about. And I have a couple good ideas about how to help you guys on that end as well. The only other things I like to do on defense is to switch it up when they least expect it, and to trap when the shot clock gets low or when someone is hot. You don't want to trap or press early in the shot clock on kids who know what they're doing because it's just really easy to zigzag your way to a dunk out of that stuff. You want to trap or play man-to-man when your opponent is going on a run or you're making a run yourself. The trap I use is the half court trap and is selected by pressing the B button on the second page of the defensive plays. You want to trap when there's around 10 seconds left on the shot clock and or when your opponent is stationary and trying to figure out how to find an open shot for himself. Don't ever trap when he's running around or he'll get out of it extremely easily and find an open layup for himself. So that pretty much wraps up the video for today. Be sure to leave a comment if you'd like me to elaborate on anything I've covered or anything you'd like to see in the future. And as always, hit that thumbs up button if you enjoy these videos. The more likes and views I get, the more motivation I have to put up one sooner. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of the video. Ball it up, my dude, and peace out, bro.